Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 99th episode of Kouryer podcast. And yes, you heard it right, 99th. There's one more episode left till the end of season one of the podcast, which will conclude on episode 100, which actually I'm going to record it tomorrow with a special guest. So I'm not going to spoil too much and just get straight into this current episode. All right, our today's guest is Mr. Gennadiy Kim. He's a visual development and digital artist specializing in stylized portraits from Moscow, Russia. Now, with that quick introduction out of the way, could you please give us a little introduction on how we got into visual arts and design?
I think it was about the second year of university. I was studying some IT things. I don't know exact things, just something IT, computers. And I just realized that it wasn't that interesting for me. So I basically didn't know what to do at that time. And I stumbled upon the YouTube channel. I think it was CG Speak. There was like streams with artists, and they were like just talking about the gaming industry and stuff. And I started watching these streams, and I realized that I could actually go and pursue the art career and earn money with that. So I started searching some YouTube tutorials and stuff, and started learning. And after a couple of years, no, not couple, it was more, a few years, I got a job as a concept artist in mobile games. And after that, after 3 years of working, I quit my job and started doing the stuff you see on Instagram. So that's where I am right now.
All right, wonderful. And you already explained a little bit about your story, but I was wondering, were you originally studying art and design, or you were pursuing another career path when you were in your teenage years and deciding, what to do with the future? Like, what was your first decision,
I never studied arts like traditionally. At the teenage years, I don't know. I wasn't really thinking about my future. So when the time came after high school, I chose something that was somewhat close to me. Like I was playing computer games, a lot of computer games, and the closest thing to it was computers and IT. So I chose that.
Yeah, that actually makes sense because I kind of had a similar path as well. I first went to mechanical engineering, but I didn't like it. Then went to computer science for the exact same reason you went to computer science, because I was like, it's actually close to video game design, so, I could, do that. But that was a huge mistake. And I was like, what am I doing? And I just dropped out again. And I pursued graphic design. And right now I'm pursuing art on myself. So yeah, I can understand that, what you're saying. And well, I already mentioned in the introduction that you right now are specializing in stylized portraits. But that aside, I wanted to know, what is your main branch of design that you're focusing on right now? And tell us your experience from the start of it until now.
I always liked doing portraits right from the beginning. It was like the most interesting thing to paint, human faces. Right now, I still don't know where to go. No, in the art terms. and I still want to do portraits. I want to explore different styles, different methods to paint a human face. That is what was interesting to me right now.
All right. And speaking of faces, how does your design process usually go anytime you want to start working on a new drawing of portraits?
It's actually every time it's a little bit different. I like to experiment with process and one time start with a drawing, another time I can start with just shapes, straighten the colors. So I don't know, there's no single workflow that I use.
All right. And I actually wanted to ask you something. How do you find inspiration for art color palettes and, basically that's my main question, the color palettes. How do you find inspiration, how to choose colors for new projects? Because your lighting and colors look so pretty, honestly. I wonder what process do you go through every time you want to pick a palette?
Most of the time I just mesh random colors and see if they look good. If they don't, I just change it with adjustments or paint new colors.
Fair enough, makes sense. But the reason you can, come up with this, beautiful colors is because of years of experience. That's basically what you're saying, is that you do it kind of by intuition, and that only comes by years of experience.
But I don't know. Actually, I started making this vibrant color schemes only when I started doing that Instagram stuff. Before that, I had a lot of trouble with colors. I have them right now, but it's better.
Yeah, I mean, social medias, especially Instagram, are so visual, and it's the audience sucks up just pretty colors, they love to see that. The Instagram loves to see those beautiful, pretty colors. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, stuff like that could kind of affect the works, but all in all, it's good. And well, let's get to an interesting question. Who are your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Oh, favorite artists, they always change. I find new artists and they start to inspire more than others. But right now, I think there are two artists that are just, I don't know, they are like magicians to me. One is Ruprecht von Kaufmann. Do you know him?
No, honestly. I'll Google him right now.
He, especially the way he works with colors, really influences my latest works. And overall, I really like his perception of the environments, of the people. And the second artist is Graciena Samusir. I don't know if I pronounce it correct. She's mainly doing drawings, and I just don't know how to describe them. They are magical.
Yeah, sometimes, we come to loss of words when trying to describe some artworks, of certain people. Yeah, I can understand what you mean. And well, let's get to a bit of a technical question. What technologies and softwares do you mostly use for your works? By technologies, I mean the hardware, like what kind of tablet, and stuff like that.
Oh, I use Windows PC, like pretty regular PC, not very powerful. And the tablet, I think it's one by Wacom. The one, not the screen one, but like
Intuos
regular
one?
tablet.
Intuos is Wacom Intuos. I know what you mean.
No, it's not Intuos. Intuos, I think, is a little bit more expensive. This is like the cheapest Wacom tablet you can get.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I love to hear stuff like this because it just proves to, anyone who might listen to the podcast or anyone who wants to start digital art that are, kind of intimidated, that you don't need the fancy equipment to draw cool stuff,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And well, here's the thing. I usually say this stuff, at the end or beginning of the podcast, but I want to catch the people who are listening off guard and just tell it now. If you go look at the, Gennadiy Kim's profile, he has a link which leads to an art station, and you can see some of his works, and a link that leads to some, high-res JPEGs of his works, which, you can download for free. But yeah, I mean, that's a really cool thing that you did. And also, most importantly, he has a Ko-fi profile that you can literally, I mean, the name kind of suggests you can buy him a coffee. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, if you want to support an artist and like his works, and hey, I mean, if you check, I'm honestly serious. Like, if you check the high-res JPEGs that he put on, it could be your next, phone wallpaper or something. They look so pretty, or print. Oh, dude, you should sell this stuff as prints. They would sell pretty well. I just realized.
I received some emails about this to some stores invited me to make prints with them, but right now I'm not super short on money. I can provide for myself.
All right, awesome.
But I really don't want to take money for things that, in my opinion, should be free, like the high-res pictures. That's why I just share them for free.
That's actually such a beautiful thing to say. I mean, I actually admire your principles that you have. I do. And so, yeah, I mean, for anyone who's listening, there's a Ko-fi link, there's a high-res JPEG, all that. Check him out. It's in the link tree of his profile. I'll put his profile in the captions as well. And that's, I hope, and I assume that's the best way to contact you if anyone had an art question or something through your Instagram, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, awesome. Now that we take care of that, let's move on to the next question. What are you working on right now that you can tell us about? What kind of project is it? I mean, of course, if it's something that there's an NDA involved, we can skip right past this question. But if that's not the case, tell us what you're doing right now.
Oh, I can't tell you about the client work that I do. And as for the personal work, I have some projects that are like frozen because I don't think it's the time to do them right now. So right now I'm focusing on just painting portraits to explore styles, and I want to find like some stylistic choices that I will save for for much longer time, so I won't change them. I don't know if
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, no worries at all. And all right, the next question is kind of interesting. Like, we're kind of done with the technical stuff, so don't worry. And Matt, this is kind of like a hypothetical question. It's like, imagine like in terms of, money and free time, especially, you're set. Like, it's a hypothetical question. Like, you have enough free time, free money, everything, extras, like everything is set, all right? In that situation, beside the thing that you're working on right now, which is arts, and, design, what would you be interested to do? And that could be anything non-arts related. That could be learning something new. That could be traveling. That could be anything. What would that be?
Oh, that's a tough question for me. I don't know if I have the freedom to do what I want, then I would just paint stuff. That's what I like the most.
All right, awesome. Like, usually people say, I want to travel the world. I want to, learn music. I want to do this. But I admire your persistent. You still want to, even in that situation, you still want to keep drawing and do the thing you love. That's actually like, what's the word in English? Like, yeah, people, aspiring artists should actually look up to the attitude you have towards art. You love it. You, by the definition of the word, love it. And that's just beautiful to me. And well, with everything that's been said and done, to conclude all we discussed, give us a roadmap for someone who is zero in visual arts and wants to get to the same place you are in terms of skill set. Like, for someone who is zero in visual arts and never had an experience, but has an interest and curiosity and wants to start. What would you say to that person? What major steps should that person take?
I think the best way to learn arts is YouTube. There's a ton of information, everything you need. You don't even need to read the books about art. It's all there.
All right, there you have it. Pretty straightforward answer, but a correct answer, actually, because that's true. You can learn anything on YouTube, not just art. YouTube is amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
And well, we've reached the final question of the podcast, which is like a segment question, which is called Final Words. And basically what that is imagine for anyone who's listening to this podcast in the future and they've came to this point of the podcast right now that we're speaking, all right? For anyone who's listening in the future, whether in a week, 2 weeks, 6 months, 3 years, 10 years, 50 years, future, right? You have a window of time to say anything, to tell them anything, a message as a human to another human. All right. What would that be?
I don't know. Be creative. Don't stop working. Something like that.
All right. Yeah, fair enough. That's a good answer, actually. Be creative and keep being persistent with your work. Awesome. All right. Thanks so much for coming by. And as I already, you told me, and I already asked you that the best place for people to contact you is through your Instagram, which of course I'm going to tag you in the posts and, put them in the captions as well. And with that out of the way, thank you so much for coming by. And thank you to anyone who tuned in and listened to this episode. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. And take care, everyone. See you next episode. Bye.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
bye.
My pleasure.